Bootstrap Paradox. You ever have a wild idea and think, where did that even come from? What if the answer is that the future handed it to you? Let's say you buy a copy of Hamlet, travel back in time, and hand it to Shakespeare. He ends up publishing it, it becomes history. Centuries pass, and that same book ends up in the store where you first found it. The loop completes. But now there's a gigantic problem. Who actually wrote the thing? Nobody did. Or everybody did. You got it from Shakespeare, but he got it from you. This is the Bootstrap Paradox, a time loop where information or objects have no true origin. It just loops, like a creative time-traveling ping-pong match. The book exists because you gave it to Shakespeare, but you only gave it to him because you already had it. And here's the freaky part. How much of what we think has an origin actually does? What if everything already existed and we're just watching it play out? Maybe reality is just like pressing play on a DVD. The whole movie is already there, we're just experiencing it scene by scene. If your brain just yelled, "Wait, what?" Good. That means it's working, and trust me, you'll need every bit of it for what's coming next. The Crocodile Paradox. A crocodile steals a child. Stay with me. The mother begs, please give him back. The croc replies, setting a condition, I'll return him, but only if you can correctly guess what I am going to do. So if she says, you're going to return him, and she's right, the crocodile returns him. All good. But if she's wrong, the crocodile keeps the child. It may seem harsh, but logically solid based on the rule. Here's the twist. What if she says, you're not going to return him? Now the crocodile is in a logical bind, trapped by his own rule. If she's right, if you're not going to return him is true, the croc must return the child, because she guessed correctly. But by returning him, the croc proves her wrong. And if she's wrong, then he was going to return him, but now he can't, because she guessed incorrectly, and the rule says he keeps the child if she's wrong. Boom. Another logical loop. The crocodile is stuck. The mom is stuck. And somewhere in the Middle Ages, a philosopher probably threw their notebook across the room. The crocodile played dirty, but some paradoxes don't need teeth. Now, here's one that hits below the belt, right in your daily life. Catch-22 Paradox. You've probably lived this one. You need experience to get hired, but you need a job to get experience. So unless you came out of the womb with a LinkedIn profile, you might be screwed. This isn't just a modern job market issue, it's named after Catch-22, a novel where a soldier wants out of flying dangerous missions by proving he's insane. But the catch? If he asks to be excused, that means he's sane, because only a sane person would want to avoid dying. So, guess who's getting back in the cockpit? What is the paradox? You're trapped in a loop that punishes you for trying to escape, kind of like trying to cancel a gym membership. Every step forward sends you 2 steps back into the treadmill. And it shows up everywhere. Bureaucracies that eat their own paperwork, internships that require previous internship experience, life situations where doing the logical thing proves you're too logical to qualify for help. So can someone escape a catch-22? Possibly. But odds are you'll need a loophole, or a miracle, or a friend who knows someone in HR. Now let's step into a room with 2 boxes, a $1 million question, and someone who may have predicted your every move before you even walked in. This is where free will begins to feel like a scam. Now might be a good time to hit that like and subscribe button before the time loops and you forget you ever saw this. Seriously, we're a small channel and it really does help. Alright, enough of that. Back to the madness. Newcomb's Paradox. Here's the setup. Box A has $1,000. You can see it. Box B is completely sealed. It could be empty. Could be life-changing. You can take both boxes or just box B. Now here's the part that might scramble your brain. Before you entered the room, a super intelligent oracle ran a detailed simulation on you, your choices, your tendencies, your vibes. If it predicted you'd take only box B, it would place $1 million inside. If it predicted you'd take both, box B would be empty. And that decision, the money or lack thereof, was locked in before you ever walked in the room. Now you're standing there. 2 boxes, one transparent, one sealed. And the creepiest part, your decision was probably predicted before you even knew you'd make it. So, do you just take box B, trusting the oracle's accuracy? Or do you grab both and assume the prediction is already done, so it can't matter anyway? Either way, the box is sealed, and maybe, so is your fate. Now, If you think that's stressful, try being told you're going to die next week, but we won't tell you when. Spoiler, it doesn't really make it any better. The unexpected hanging paradox. Imagine you're a prisoner. Not an ideal situation, but trust me, it gets a lot worse. The judge tells you you'll be hanged in a weekday, Monday to Friday, but you don't know which day until it happens. Okay, casual threat. But being clever, you start to think, well, it can't be Friday. If I'm still alive by Thursday night, then I'll know it's Friday, and that kind of ruins the surprise, so Friday might be out. Then you think, wait, that means Thursday is going to be out too. If Friday's off the table, and I'm alive on Wednesday night, Thursday becomes too obvious. Your brain will begin to overload. Wednesday's out, Tuesday's out, even Monday somehow gets ruled out. And congratulations, you've logically eliminated every possible day. Which also makes it super awkward when the guards show up on Wednesday and say, surprise! The paradox? The prisoner's logic seems bulletproof, but it still fails. He's shocked, even though he delivered a full TED talk to himself about why it was 100% impossible. It's like trying to outsmart a jump scare. You know it's coming until it actually does. Well, that paradox might have killed your week, but let's talk about something equally painful. Why it always feels like your friends are cooler, fitter, and way more followed than you. That's right. Life just hits you with a reality check. The friendship paradox. Have you ever caught yourself scrolling through social media and think, wow, everyone's at a yacht party, except me? That isn't just FOMO talking, it's actually math. Welcome to the friendship paradox. Statistically, your friends are likely more popular than you. No offense, by the way. It's not because you're unlikable, it's just how networks work. Here's why. People with more friends are more likely to appear in your friend group. It's like showing up at a party and feeling like everyone kind of knows each other. Because the people who know the most people are literally in every group photo. And this paradox doesn't just mess with your social life either. It shows up in wealth, fitness, happiness. Your friends might seem richer, hotter, more fulfilled, because you're statistically comparing yourself to the most connected people. And here's the reality check. It's not that everyone is doing better than you. It's just that your brain is constantly comparing you to the most statistically misleading version of reality. So if your life ever feels kind of average, don't sweat it. That might just be the most mathematically accurate thing about you. And that's okay. And speaking of decisions that mess with your brain, the two envelopes paradox. Imagine you're handed two envelopes. Inside each of them is money. One has twice as much as the other. But here's the twist. You can only keep one. So which do you choose? Feeling lucky, you could go with your gut and pick one. But before you tear it open like a kid on Christmas morning, you're given a choice. Stick with it or swap for the other. Now, let's just say, for the sake of working with the logic, that your envelope happens to have $40. That means the other could have either $20 or $80, right? Your brain does some quick math, and you realize that that would be more than $40, so you better switch. Except you can do that math no matter what number you start with. $50, $100, it doesn't matter. Switching always seems like the better option. But if switching is always the better option, then why stop switching? Should you just keep swapping envelopes until the end of time, while the universe watches in kind of confusion? That's the paradox. The math says switch, the logic says chill, and your wallet says just make a decision. So while you're stuck endlessly swapping envelopes and slowly losing your grip on reality, let's talk about something even weirder. Why isn't every whale just a giant floating tumor? No, really, this next one will make you question how biology hasn't completely fallen apart yet. Peto's Paradox. Here's the deal. Big animals have way more cells than we do, like way more. And more cells equals more chances for those cells to go rogue, which would equal more cancer, right? But that is not what happens. Whales, elephants, giraffes, somehow they're out there thriving. Giant, majestic, statistically impossible cancer dodgers. How is this? It turns out evolution installed some premium anti-cancer software. Elephants, for example, don't just have one copy of a key tumor-suppressing gene like humans. They actually have 20. It's like nature looked at their size and said, yeah, let's give this guy a full antivirus suite, the firewall, and a two-factor authentication setup. So the paradox is this. More cells should mean more cancer, but in big animals, it doesn't. And scientists are not 100% sure how they're pulling it off exactly. And here's why this matters more than you think. If we figure out their secret, we might be able to use it to prevent or even cure cancer in humans. Basically, Elephants might be the key to saving your future, not just making you regret standing too close during bath time at the zoo. Meanwhile, your body is replacing itself on a timer like some weird meat-based IKEA project. New cells, new tissues, little by little. So here's the question that'll really mess with your sense of identity. If everything's getting replaced piece by piece, when do you stop being you? Welcome to the Theseus Paradox, an ancient brain twister that asks the same question, just with fewer organs and more wood. Theseus Paradox. Now let's imagine a ship, a famous one, maybe Theseus's ship. Over time, its wooden planks begin to rot. So, like any good ship owner, they replace them, one by one, no big deal. But eventually, every original plank is replaced. Not a single piece of the original is left. And here's where your brain begins questioning reality. Is it technically the same ship? Now hang on, there's layers to this. What if someone grabbed all those old rotten planks and built a second ship out of them? Which ship now is the real ship of Theseus? Is it the one that stayed in the harbor the whole time, or the one made of OG parts? It's like that moment when you realize your childhood teddy bear has been patched, restuffed, and restitched so many times it's basically a new teddy bear, but it still feels like the old bear. This paradox hits everything from identity and memory to personal changes and consciousness. I mean, every 7 to 10 years, your body has basically replaced all of its old cells. So are you still you, technically you? Or are you the philosophical version of a reboot? It makes you think. Are we just talking versions of Theseus' ship, but with better playlists? And when you think your brain's had enough, there's something even stranger waiting around the corner. Thompson's lamp paradox. Now picture this. You have a lamp. You flip the switch on, it turns on. You flip it off, it turns off. Pretty standard. Now imagine a ghost is in your house and starts flipping the switch like it's trying to communicate in Morse code, with anxiety. After one flip, 30 seconds later flip, 15 seconds, 7.5, 3.75, it keeps going, cutting the time in half until it flips the switch an infinite number of times in just 2 minutes. Now here's the mess. At exactly 2 minutes, is the lamp on or off? Or was it on, off forever? What's the final state? Nobody knows. Math says we did the infinite thing. Logic thinks, cool, but what's the answer? And the lamp, well, it's sitting there vibrating in quantum confusion. Congratulations, you've just survived a paradox marathon. And yes, if your brain feels like it just tried to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded, same here. But before you go, hit that like and subscribe button. It's the internet's version of a standing ovation, and for a new channel like ours, it means everything. Thank you for being here, and I hope to catch you in the next one.